Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, we are from 3A, but before that let us introduce ourselves. My name is Aulia Nailin and it's my partner.
Izatul Ganiasih.
And Zalza, Fina, Oktafiana.
So, here we would like to give presentation about marital exchanges. This is the text of marital exchanges. Well, the first presentation will be presented by Iza. So Iza, please, time is yours.
Question 1. In which paragraph do the authors describe the North American form of marital exchange? Answer D. 2 until 4. From a cross-cultural perspective, the most unusual feature of North American marital exchange is that nothing to transfer between the relative of the groom and bride. The couple treat the gift as their private property. Like most of our other customs, this seems natural to us. Next. Question number 2. Excluding the North American form of marital transfer, what other form do the author discuss? List them in order. Answer. 1. Euro-American marriage. Because in this discussion we can see the author provide a fairly complete and long explanation, indicating the author wants to tell more about Europe-American marriage. Bride wealth. Bride wealth is the widespread custom that requires the man and his relative to transfer wealth to the relative of his bride. It is easy. The most common of all marital exchanges found in more than half the world culture. The third is bride service. Because bride service is a part of marital exchange, whereas the term implies, bride service is the custom whereby a husband is required to spend a period of time working for the family of his bride. And the last is dowry. Same like bride wealth and bride service, dowry is a part of marital exchange. Next. Question number 3. Which two paragraphs contain the price in contrast? Paragraph blah 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 and blah blah blah. Answer paragraph 5 and 6. It is construct the need of their own staff of newlyweds who decided to have separated household and not needed their own staff of the newlyweds move in with one of the relatives. And it is contrast the absence of the same types of gift in the in-law pairs and availability gift of the marriage created an alliance between the two sets of relatives. Next. Question number 4. What is contrasted in paragraph 7? Is there a contrasignal word or in this paragraph? If so, what is it? It is contrasted the marriage system with common and separated property of husband and wife. And the contrasignal word is but. Next. Question number 5. In which paragraph do the author contrast the custom of bride wealth and dowry? The answer is 12 only. The main thing to understand about dowry is that it's not simply the opposite of bride wealth. That is, it is not from wealth. It is rather ordinarily the share of woman's inheritance that she is allowed to take into her marriage for the use of her new family. Although the parents are still alive, the woman and her family do not acquire marital right over her husband, and they provide a dowry, as they would if dowry were the opposite to bride wealth. Rather, the bride and her husband receive property when they marry, rather than when the bride's parents die. Next. And the next is suggestion for discussing or writing. Which type of marital exchange is followed in the culture you are the most familiar with? The type of marital exchange is followed in the culture we are most familiar are Euro-American and white wealth. According to our culture here, that the present gift by relative and friends possibly help the newlyweds establish an independent household, and also that the widespread custom that requires a man and his relative to transfer wealth to the relative of his bride. Next. Tell about other wedding custom or beside gift giving that might differ from North American custom. Another wedding custom is the nyantri custom. In this tradition, originating from the Yogyakarta Palace, the groom must spend the night in the area where the prospective bride resides. Generally, the prospective groom is introduced to the house of the bride's relative or neighbor. Even so, he is not allowed to meet his future wife until the wedding day arrives. Next. At North American weddings, most of the attention is focused on the bride. It is her big day. The groom plays an almost secondary role. Why do you think this is so? Is this the case in other cultures? In wedding, the most attention is the bride is in almost all cultures. This happens because of tradition. The wedding is the biggest event in a woman's life. Usually, she has been planning it for years, and she has to look amazing, put on makeup, wear jewelry, wear dress, and that will be the guest judgment. And the groom just need puts on the great Swiss and stands where it's supposed to sit. Okay.
Okay, for the next presentation will be presented by me. This is the summary. These marital exchanges are used to create love relationships, compensate a family for the loss of one of its members, provide for the new couple's support, or provide a daughter with an inheritance that helps attract a desirable husband. From a cross-cultural perspective, the most unusual feature of North American marital exchange is that nothing is transferred between the relatives of the groom and bride. The couple treat the gifts as their private property. If, in contrast, the marriage created an alliance between the two sets of relatives, some kind of an exchange would probably occur between them to symbolize and cement their new relations. Next. Bride wealth is the widespread custom that requires a man and his relatives to transfer wealth to the relatives of his bride. Bride service is the second most common form of marital exchange. It is the usual compensation given to the family of a bride in roughly 1/8 of the world's cultures. Dowry in marital exchange is called dowry when the family of a woman transfers portion of their own wealth or other property to the daughter and her husband. The woman and her family do not acquire marital right over her husband when they provide dowry, as they would if dowry were the opposite of bride wealth. Rather, the bride and her husband receive property when they marry, rather than when the bride's parents die. Next, much of the dowry is presented. to the bride on her wedding day, but her parents and maternal uncle often provide her gifts periodically throughout the marriage. There are other forms of exchanges that occur at marriage, including some in which both sets of relatives exchange gifts as a material symbol of the new basis of their relationship. The groom's family would make a payment to the bride's family, and the bride's family would purchase some furniture and other household goods for their daughter to take with her when she moved into her husband's household. Next. Well, for this
Mine Ida. Paragraph 1. The marriage of a man and a woman is accompanied by some kind of transfer of goods or services. Paragraph 2. Marital exchange take numerous forms, including the North American custom of wedding shower and wedding gift. Paragraph 3. The most unusual feature of North American marital exchange is that nothing is transferred between the relatives of the groom and bride. Paragraph 4. The fact that the couple received the gift fits with several other features of Euro-American marriage. Paragraph 5. Marriage is the bond through which new independent households are started. Paragraph 6. Our marriage gift custom fit with the value our culture places on the privacy of the marital relationship. Paragraph 7. Gifts are presented to the couple, not to the husband or wife as individuals. Paragraph 9. Bride wealth is the widespread custom that requires a man and his relatives to transfer wealth to the relative of his bride. Paragraph 10. Bride service is the custom whereby a husband is required to spend a period of time working for the family of his bride. Paragraph 11. Bride service is the second most common form of marital exchange. Paragraph 12. A marital exchange is called dowry when the family of a woman transfer a portion of their own wealth or other property to their daughter and her husband. Paragraph 13. Dowry is a relatively rare form of marital exchange. Paragraph 14. There are other forms of exchange that occur at marriages. Interesting point. The most unusual feature of North American marital exchange is that nothing is transferred between the relative of the groom and bride. You can see in paragraph 2. In sub-Saharan Africa, cattle and sometimes other livestock are the most common goods used for bride wealth. You can see in paragraph 9. A Yanomamo, a native tribe living in the rainforest of the Amazon, son-in-law is expected to live with his wife's parents, hunting and gardening for them until they finally release control over their daughter. You can see in paragraph 7. You can see in paragraph 10.
Well, that's all our presentation. If there are any mistake, please forgive us. And thank you for your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.